there, Cult Lords fans. We are back with another episode review of The Last of Us.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. And, Dane, what do we want our Last of Us viewers to do for us?
Oh, well, we definitely don't want them to turn into mushrooms, but we would love them to subscribe, like us, and also put comments down below to let us know what you think about this episode, what you think about Last of Us.
Yeah.
You know, do we bring up some salient points, or are we completely in the dumpster with what we're talking about?
Yep.
So, come on in, join the cult, and enjoy the show.
Now, 2 different warnings I want to give before we start. First warning, neither one of us played the game. So when we watch this show, everything is brand new to us. We are experiencing it for the very first time. We don't have the game to fall back on and know what happened shot for shot.
It's true.
There are other channels out there that do that. I recommend Heavy Spoilers. Go and check out his channel. He will do shot for shots and show that. I always...
That's the name of the channel? Heavy Spoilers?
Heavy Spoilers is the name of the channel. And every time after I watch Last of Us, I go and watch his because he'll go through all the Easter eggs, and then I learn a lot more of what I saw. So the second one is spoiler review. If you
Heavy Spoilers?
Heavy spoiler review. So if you have not seen episode 2 yet, we are going into red alert territory here. We're going to be talking spoilers. So if you haven't seen it yet, maybe you hit pause, go watch it, then come back and see what we have to say.
Yep.
See if you agree with us. So, all right, Dane, this episode was called The Infected.
Infected, yes.
Infected.
Yes, all right. But
all right.
I
was going off
title.
of some bad information, so.
I.e. this one. It's Infected, not The Infected.
All right.
But yeah, this is that episode, number 2.
What did you think?
What I thought was cool about this one is, and I'm wondering if they're going to do this every single time, because it's not a pattern yet. They need one more to make it a pattern. They started it with in the past.
Yes.
To show what's going on and happening.
Started off with, and by the way, that was not in the game.
Right.
So that whole thing in Indonesia where they show the doctor.
Right.
And
the
like
doctor
the very first time science is looking at this, and she basically says, we're screwed. I'm going to go home and spend time with my
Bomb the place.
Yeah, bomb it.
Basically, get yourself a bottle of Jack Daniel Bonded and bomb the place.
Yes.
You know, and that was a powerful scene because that was definitely you seeing her reaction like, whoa,
I know.
what's happening here?
Yeah.
And they're like, don't touch him. The foot's infected. And then she was like, that was definitely creepy. I mean, and that's one thing that this show has...
delved into?
Well, no, what's the word I'm looking for? Completely differentiated itself from Walking Dead. Is that they showed the origin of what's going on and how it started.
We talked about that last week,
right? Because in Walking Dead, they don't, you don't really know from the beginning what's going on. In this one, you know what's going on, but you have nothing. You can't do anything about it.
Right.
We're all screwed.
Yeah.
If mushrooms take over or decide to take over, we're all screwed.
Yeah. According to this show.
Yes.
I would love, because you know what? I mean, we've seen a lot of zombie shows and zombie movies, and it's always, or not always, but usually it's virus-based. So we've seen like Neil deGrasse Tyson, we've seen, Inukaku, whatever his name is. We've seen the CDC all talk about what to do in a zombie outbreak and pandemic. But it's all virus-based. Nothing is ever talked about if it's fungus-based.
Right. Because it's never happened.
I would love to hear from some scientists how realistic this is that this could happen with fungus.
So, I mean, I agree with you fully. I mean, the show is trying to set itself up as this could happen if fungus can live above 94
Well,
degrees.
every show says this could happen.
And it's interesting they went to Jakarta because
Right.
that's more of that's in the tropic zone,
Right.
if I remember correctly. So they were at least trying to keep true, like it didn't happen up in Alaska or something like
Well,
that.
yeah, it wouldn't have, so.
Right. But that's one thing the show hasn't really shown. Is
Right.
is it possible for the fungus to exist in much colder climates? Because we've been narrowly focused in the United States so far, and then that tropic zone.
No, so it would definitely be in colder climates because if you remember from the beginning,
right.
it always happened in colder. It was heat that would kill it.
Right.
So,
well, okay, well.
But you're right.
So,
that was a very cool start to have that start in Indonesia, and then we go to the city skyline of Boston, where you see one tower has fallen over and is leaning against another tower.
Right, and that was another thing too, by the way.
That's from the game.
Yeah, that's from the game.
Yeah.
But there's another differentiator is that everyone decided to just bomb the crap out of all the urban areas.
Right.
That didn't happen in the other one because they were more holding back, and then
Right.
it became just a siege type of mentality. In this one, they're like, well, Boston needs to get bombed.
Yeah.
New York needs to get bombed. We
Yeah.
would be dead, by the way.
Yeah.
We live outside of Chicago.
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
I built a nuclear bunker. At my house.
Did you?
Yeah.
You know it was coming?
Yeah.
That's the problem with a nuclear bunker.
Yeah.
Wait, you mean like barbarian nuclear bunker?
Bunker? No, that wasn't a nuclear bunker. That
mean
couldn't withstand like Cloverfield nuclear bunker.
Oh, okay. Well,
Did you ever watch that movie?
I did. I don't remember if that. I mean, it's been a while. So.
Yeah.
But hey.
With John Goodman.
Yeah.
Watch it with John Goodman. So.
Watch it
with John Goodman on your couch is what I'm. No, I'm just joking. All right.
I'll call him over.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a great thing. Opening scene. They're walking out. They see everybody. You know. I mean, they don't see anybody.
No, they don't see anybody.
Well, that was another thing that I thought was a big difference. Is in Walking Dead, there's always dead people walking around. In this one, you don't see them for a long time until they finally get to a certain
you'll
point.
hear them sometimes. Like you can hear like a scream off.
Oh,
sometimes when they're walking through the city, they'll hear a scream or something in the distance, and they're like. But you can't tell like where this is at. Well, first of all, they're like, you want to go the short way or you want to go the long way? And the long way, I guess, is like around or whatever. But they decide to go through the museum, which is the short way, right? And
well, no, they take the long way and then they get stopped.
Okay.
That was the problem. They went through the long way and then the hotel had the big thing and they couldn't get out.
I'm sorry. When they get to the museum, and there's like dead bodies,
like Philadelphia. Like a Bostonian, like all the federal guns.
But like she turns a corner and there's like a fresh corpse there. Remember that? There was a guy there and she goes, ah!
Yeah.
And there's and he's like bleeding and it's like fresh.
Well, and actually, and you bring up a great point because I was thinking during that episode, like if you're dead already, like you freshly have literally died, will they just not take you over? I don't know. Game people, let us know because. To your point, I thought the exact same thing. Like, why is that guy not infected and going up?
So what you're saying is, let's say this guy was shot in the head without being infected. Will he turn? Will the fungus infect a dead person already? Right. Because like in the Walking Dead world, every dead person becomes a zombie.
Unless they're in the head.
But will a dead person here become a zombie?
Right.
Because especially if they're not already infected.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I mean.
So I don't know.
It kind of pointed to that because I was half in believing the guy was going to jump up all of a sudden because then leading to that episode, the scene later where they're in that like room in the I forget what that building was where all the dead people were. This is when they tried to meet their friends and they're all been shot up and everything is blood everywhere. Yeah. And you think everyone's dead. Yeah. And then of course somebody wakes up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know. Well, so I'm going to get to that because that's towards the end here. Before they get to that, so they go through, like, I think it's the museum first. Right. But then they go to a hotel that has waist-high water. And they just so casually walked into that waist-high water. And I'm like,
Mushrooms survive in water.
Can they be like in water? I mean, because
Right.
they just so casually jumped into the water.
I guess they're kind of thinking that, well, if there's something in there, it's going to come out.
Right.
You know, that it's not just going to hang out. And well, unlike The Walking Dead, where the dead just sit there waiting for something to happen,
Yeah.
you know, the fungus is like, I need to actively get involved and, you
Right.
know, and everything. And they did. And did you watch the extras?
No.
At the end of this?
No.
They made a big point that they've made changes from the
Oh, yeah,
the
because I'm going to get to that,
original-
at the end.
But that might have been one of them. That there's not going to be people, you know, floating around in water waiting for somebody to show up.
Right.
You know?
So in that museum, though,
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about the two undead things in there because the fungus had like exploded out their eyes, and they had these like fungus looking faces, and it wasn't even like normal faces to look at, right?
Right.
It was just these really weird creature looking things, right?
Exactly.
And then so what I've learned is that the fungus will like come out of the mouth. So remember like in episode 1 when the old lady was munching on, I thought she had like a mouthful of hair.
Oh, really? You didn't
That
think
was
that was
the
the
fungus.
Oh, yeah, right,
Right?
yeah.
So but like the fungus can explode out your eyes, come out your nose, and come out your ears.
Oh, so it goes out the available holes
Yes.
first.
Yes.
So these are some more that's missing. But
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
kind of gross, really.
Right.
This is a different kind of
Well,
zombie.
and they said he all of a sudden's like they can't see, they
Yeah.
can only hear, and that
Yeah.
makes sense to your point.
Yeah.
Like everything get blown out. You know, you'd think technically your ears would get blown out, but that's what they can.
Yeah.
And did he say they can? Did the smell too, or no? He just said they can't hear. So
Right.
I don't know if they could. Well, it almost seemed like they were walking around smelling. Didn't
Well, yeah. So they I think they can. No. So what
Or
it
they
is?
were just
no.
hearing.
They what I learn in heavy spoilers is they have the same type of homing thing that bats do, where they can send out a signal and it comes back, and then they can kind of see the room that way. So if you're not moving and it's doing this and coming back in, you can't fool them because they're not listening. They can't hear certain things.
And they can't see.
And they can't
Okay,
see,
yeah,
but they can
right.
do that kind of audio thing where
Is
they
that why
send
they
out,
click? And then
Yeah, they
it does
click,
that?
and then it comes
Oh.
back to them.
Okay. Okay, I didn't realize that was happening at the time. But
Yeah, no, I didn't either. I didn't understand that until I
Right.
watched Heavy Spoilers.
And the other thing they established, by the way, in that same sequence of scenes is that if things are dried out and like powdery,
Yeah.
then they're dead.
Then they're dead. You don't have to worry, I guess, about like inhaling the spores or whatever.
Right.
And so here's, I guess I'll get into one of the big differences that I learned in Heavy Spoilers. So in the game, these things would launch spores out in the air, and if you breathed it, you could turn into a zombie.
Right.
They decided not to go that route in this one, in the TV show. But one thing that they did do that freaked all the gamers out when they watched it was, do you remember when they went into that building and everybody had gone in there and they were all dead, basically, right?
Which
At the end that you were talking about.
Right.
And this is where the lady said, "Oh, I got bit," right?
Right.
Okay. Do you remember like one of the guys?
I got bit!
Yeah. Do you remember like one of the guys on the floor started going, "Ugh," and started
Yeah,
coming?
which I thought was like, what? This
Yeah.
whole time they've been
Yeah.
sitting there not moving,
Yeah.
but then they showed little feelers going out.
So what happens is he shoots him in the head and kills him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then the little fungus comes out. It then started going like this. And what it did was it communicated with all the people in the street
Right.
blocks away
Yeah.
to come here.
Yeah.
So that was never in the game.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Because, you know, the GPSing
Yeah.
is basically what you're talking about. Yeah, which is really interesting as you think about that. How do they locate something that far away? I mean, I guess they have to go to a certain, like, branch and all
Right.
that. But, yeah, okay. Well, that's cool. I didn't know that wasn't in the
So
game.
because I was freaking out, like, I didn't understand, like, watching it the first time. So they shot that guy in the head, and then 3 blocks away, all the dead people that were like kind of laying there and moving around. Remember, they saw him from the balcony,
Right.
and they were moving around. All of a sudden, they just like become alert. They get up and they just start running, you know, for where they're at. And I'm like, what? What? They suddenly heard the gunshot, or what?
It was like more signal.
Yeah,
Like,
it was like it was that fungus signaling out
Yeah.
to come, and you know.
You know, and what's really interesting about that little like sequence where the little filaments came up and like were touching the guy, like, oh, this guy's dead or whatever. Have you ever seen the Leonard Nimoy Invasion of the Body Snatchers? It's been a while, I'm sure.
I've seen
because this is
the 50s Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Then I saw the 70s Donald Sutherland.
I think that's the same one.
Is it? Okay,
yeah,
so I
Leonard
did see
Nimoy's in that too. But
okay.
He's kind of like a side character, you know, whatever. But what they did in that one is that the exact same. It reminded me exactly where they had. Do you remember when the bodies would get encapsulated by those like white filaments and then they get replaced? It was almost like the same like weirdness, and I remember as a kid being so creeped out by that because it was so freaky. Yeah. And when I saw that happening with the finger when it was coming up, and I'm like, oh my god, it's exactly like it.
See?
Just curious, did you ever see the more recent Invasion of the Body Snatchers that had Nicole Kidman and Daniel Craig?
No, I did not see that one.
That was good too.
Was it good too?
Yeah.
Did they do something like that where they were more almost like plant based or like alien?
I'm trying to think how they were.
Because in the 70s one, they were like almost like a web, like the way the body gets in, like a spider encapsulates a bug, and then it would like turn them into like all of a sudden something else would come out of it.
Yeah. I don't remember.
No? Okay.
I've seen it, but it's been so long ago.
It's been so long. All right.
Yeah. So that was it, and then it was sad that what was her name? The lady who got bitten.
I think it was Tess, wasn't it?
Tess, yeah.
Yep. They killed her off really fast there.
I knew she wasn't gonna make it because like when we watched previews of when they get further west, she's not in it. So you knew she wasn't gonna make it at some
Tess.
point. Yeah. So
wasn't part. She's an Australian actress, by the way. And,
I don't know.
Yeah, so I looked her up just because I was like, really? They killed her off? This is a great actress. Why would they do that so fast? But hey, Game of Thrones basically set the precedent here.
Yeah.
Nobody's precious anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
No matter what. So
unless you watch the movie Precious.
Oh.
Then she's precious.
Then she's precious?
Yeah.
Okay. My precious.
Yeah. But anyways, but I thought it was kind of cool because she's like, hey, look, you gotta take Bella, right? Is her name? Yeah. Or Ellie. You gotta take Ellie further west. It's the only way, but I'm gonna stay here.
I'm gonna believe that. I believe in this.
I believe in this. Right. Look in my eyes.
And Ellie was pretty smart there to realize all of a sudden she's been bitten.
Yeah.
Like,
there's
no other reason the way she's acting.
The girl's smart. I mean, she cracked the code of the like 80s hits like really fast. You know what I mean? She's,
I guess she
knows where Detroit is, for God's sake.
Gen Z, I know. I went to school.
I did go to school.
There is a lot of this. I went to school, then she's like, what's that? I mean, it's like back and forth. Yeah. So that is it's a funny element in the whole show. Yeah. Right? There's a lot of little smart ass between the two of them.
Like, because she would say stuff like, so like, when the world was okay, did you guys come to hotels like this? Cause she's never been to a hotel, right? And then, the lady Tess goes, well, this was out of our league, really. So, but yeah, we went to hotels. You know what I mean?
Right.
But she has grown up, never gone to a hotel. So,
right.
But yeah, that was, and you know what? I have to say, remember when they were in the museum and they were going up the staircase, and then the staircase would almost like collapse, but then they would keep going up the like kind of this staircase that went around the room. As I was watching that, I was on the edge of my seat, tense.
Oh, I know.
And I was like, you know what? Walking Dead doesn't make me tense like this.
No, I 100% agree. The first, like, maybe 2 seasons of Walking Dead
I would almost go up to 5 seasons.
Maybe.
That Walking Dead made me tense. But once the Negan thing happened, after the big, bash the skulls
they just stopped doing that kind of film thing.
I stopped that.
And yet you miss it, don't you?
Oh, yes.
Miss being
you miss it. You miss it. You miss that thrill, that excitement,
you're like,
that horror of like, what is going to happen? What are they going to see? you never know what's going to come around that corner.
Right. Although I will, and to your point, I agree 100%. I was thinking the exact same thing. Like, oh my God, and there's so much suspense in the way they're setting this up and the music, and they're drawing you in emotionally.
Yeah.
But I will say again, and I had this complaint in Walking Dead, really? You're not walking around with your guns out all the time. They're like, nonchalant once in a while. Like
first of all, they're like stepping over, like, old bodies that are fungus, like on the staircase. Like, I'd be like...
Wouldn't you be like...
No, I'd be like, we got to find another way. Because I ain't going to walk over.
Well, they got to be used to it. Yeah, I agree with you fully.
Yeah.
I mean, like, come on. And then the other part was when they finally get attacked. I mean, I'm assuming they've dealt with these things for a while.
Yeah.
Head blow, you're dead.
Right.
Yeah, and he's not doing it.
They're not shooting the head.
Like, bam, 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 like, come on, right. Just do this.
Yes.
I mean, you've been dealing with these things for how long, and you're still not head blow? We don't know that yet?
First of all, they would have had to have dealt with them to get from Austin to Boston. I mean, like, how would you do that? They probably got word out that, hey, there's a colony in Boston that you can find refuge in. So they got to make their way halfway across the country. So they're going to run into a lot of these things.
Right.
They would have had to have been skilled at killing them. They talk about how they've gone out into Boston many times on runs. So they've had to run into these things.
Right.
In fact, they were like, when they got to the city, at first they're like, where are they? Right? And it wasn't until they got to that balcony where they looked and they...
Well, the girl said, where are they?
Yeah, well, but she was like, oh, we're going to come into it. But when they're sitting out the balcony, looking at them, they're all on the street. She goes, this is new. She goes, usually they're like inside, underground,
right.
for them to be hanging out. There must have just been a lot of people come through and get infected.
Yeah.
So
that
implies they've done this before.
Right. Oh yeah, I know. I agree. I mean, it would have been much more realistic if they were almost like kill shot, because it was like, okay, you've done this. You should be used to this. I mean, why are you acting like you're not used to dealing with these kind of creatures?
Right.
I mean, like I said, and then it goes back half the time he's walking around with his guns down, he's holding it on the side or whatever. Yeah. Especially when they're like, hey, why don't you're going to have to climb up through the hotel rubble and come around and all that. I'm like, oh, right, she's dead.
Yeah.
But no, she made it,
Well, you know what? I mean, maybe in this world, the zombies are just not very active.
Right,
like
there's no mass zombie, when Rick went on the horse in downtown Atlanta, I think, and all them masked.
Yeah.
It seems like that's not happening with the fungus thing.
I'm not seeing it, so, once again, we didn't play the game, so we don't really know, but excited to see, what's coming up for us, So did you like this episode?
I love this episode. It was amazing. It kept you on the seat of your pants. You learned. I mean, you got to give kudos to the writers because they are giving you little dribbles of information as it goes along. I mean, but yet it's good information. I mean, that was the big thing. My complaint with The Walking Dead is they kind of left you, and they still leave you like, what the hell is going on? You almost still don't know.
Right.
And at least this way, you're like, all right, we know what the enemy is, but we can't figure out how to kill it.
Right. That's my point with The Walking Dead. If this really happened, a pandemic happened, people turned into zombies, I think I would spend all the cycles we had of how do we defeat this disease? How do we defeat this virus? What's wrong with us? Why are we all infected? Why do we turn into a zombie if we die if we haven't been bitten? We must be infected. I think there would be all these cycles to try to figure that out, but nobody ever talks about it in Walking Dead.
Right.
You just live, build communities, and if you live in a community behind the gate and somebody falls off a bike and snaps their neck and turns into a zombie, you could all be dead. You know what I mean?
Right. I agree.
I don't know. But here it seems like the whole premise is there's a girl here who's immune. Let's see what we can do to fix this.
And we know exactly who the enemy is.
Right.
So, I mean, that's the biggest difference between the two series. And, it's like one of these suspense of, will they make it to the end?
Yeah.
Now, gamers, I'm assuming, know this, but we don't. They're both going to die, right?
I was just wondering why you can't rub some some athlete foot antifungal cream.
A little Tenactin.
A little Tenactin.
Tough acting Tenactin on your spray.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No fungus for me, please.
Especially in the mouth area.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure a little Tenactin there, keep those fungus away.
A tough case of athlete's foot can stop you in your tracks. You get that itching, the cracking, the burning. That's when you want a medicine that acts tough. Boom, tough acting Tenactin. It cures even tough cases of athlete's foot. Get tough acting Tenactin.
That's a great point. That is so funny. Little Tenactin, tough acting.
Yeah. Oh, well. So, Cult Lords fans, tell us what you thought of this episode. Did you enjoy it? And I hear gamers saying they enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
So far, 2 for 2
It's
awesome
called great
episodes.
writing.
Yep. So go down, subscribe to us. We put out a trailer review, trailer reaction every day. A movie
What are you
review
waiting
every week,
for?
and we are doing every Wednesday The Last of Us episode reviews. And then we got some music, cool stuff that we filmed. It's in the can. It's coming soon, friends. It's coming soon. And you're going to see us dancing, my friends. Dancing in the streets.
We'll see.
Everybody across the world. All right.
I'll go for the Van Halen version of that.
Yeah. So, Dane,
Yes.
what do you want to share with us?
Peace out.
Ooh, clickers.